Hello everyone and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today we are looking at the Marvel Legends, Marvel Studios, The First 10 Years Red Skull from Captain America, the First Avenger. So we have here Red Skull displayed in the front window box with three various heads that we can use to turn into a Hydra army, which I think was a very cool thing for them to include in this. We get a bunch of different logos, the Captain America name down there, the shield there, the logo up there. We get a logo. Let's get the light. There we go. You can see it at the top. You get the Build-A-Picture piece here. On the back, we do have the number 2, which is the second in the line. We get a movie poster along with a shot here of Red Skull and the read-up. Obsessed with the power of the Tesseract, Johann Schmidt teams up with Dr. Arnim Zola to create a supercharged arms force that will change the fate of World War II and the world. And on this side, you actually get a little bit of a synopsis for the movie. So if you want to read that, go ahead and pause it now there, and you can read that. And of course, at the bottom, you have the UPC code, so you can check with your local retailer to see if they have this in stock. But enough about that. Let's get this open and take a look at the Red Skull. And here is Red Skull outside of the packaging. And yes, as you can see here, I did buy a second one. The Black Friday, or rather Cyber Monday prices were really good on this, so I was basically able to get two for the price of one, so I figured why not. So we have here displayed also with one of the alternate heads and the harness that goes around, but very cool figure, and I think it's a good addition to the MCU line, especially if you're doing sort of a timeline display that I'm trying to do. So I kind of have figures from each movie, and you can kind of see the progression of the MCU through some figure displays, which I'll try to show that off at some point. But it's a really well done execution here, like I said, and I do like that we actually get the option to have extra Hydra agents if we want. There's a couple things that I wish we had as well. For example, a weapon that wasn't that big blaster for Red Skull, a pistol of some sort, I think would be cool. But you know, aside from that, not too bad. With that being said, let's go ahead and take a quick look at that weapon that comes with them, as well as the harness, and then we're going to get a look at each of the head sculpts as well as the figures themselves. So looking first here at the gun that comes with Red Skull, and it's pretty cool looking, very techy looking and whatnot. I think it's a little too big, and I'll kind of show you what I mean here in a second. And the trigger placement is a little off, so to show you what I mean here, when you place the gun in a hand, the trigger finger will not make it to the opening. You might be able to bend it and push it up there, but either way, that's kind of lame that the trigger finger won't actually fit in the trigger. So, you know, they made a gun that doesn't fit. And then the other thing is this second grip is so far up that you can't really do any good poses with him holding onto it. And as I even put this one in, I can feel coming loose on there. So you can get some poses with them holding it, but it's going to be harder to get them in a shooting pose unless you have them basically standing completely sideways. So that's a little bit of a bummer with this weapon, and I kind of wish they would have included more. Like I said, a pistol maybe, or just some World War II era weapons I think would have been cool. You know, Tommy gun, we have those, so something cool. Looking at the harness that we have here, so pretty neat. You get a Hydra logo down there, painted a little silver on it. You get these various clips at the top that go around with some paint on it. Another big piece on the back. And then, of course, you do have the little buckle right here. And the easiest way to put it on is to take the head off and then simply slide in on one arm, up and over the head. And then when you bring it around, you can just pop the little pin back into the side there. And then you throw your head back on. And there you go. That's not on all the way, but yeah, pretty easy to put on there, and it does add some variation to the figure, which I think is cool. It does also come with one alternate hand, which I have on my second figure there, and then I have the trigger finger hand. So you get a trigger hand, and then you get this open hand, which that open hand is used to hold the Tesseract actually on the San Diego Comic-Con version of this, if I'm not mistaken. You can kind of use it, so I was talking about how it's hard to have him gripping this. You could really bend that thumb back and have him holding onto the barrel of the gun, but you will have to bend that thumb quite a ways, because as you can see, the barrel is just too big for that hand. So, but you do get the alternate hand with it, so that's at least something. So looking first here at the Red Skull head sculpt, and it is very well done, and you can even see the evidence of that digital painting technique. When you look at the teeth and the eyes, we can see those colored dots making up the colors that we see when we hold them further back. So very well done, and it looks really cool. And you see we even get some shading throughout, so you have some of that little black wash going throughout the head, which makes it look very, very cool, and it's well done. There was a little bit of, a little weird flashing and stuff going on in the back. The ears look all weird, but really well done, and I really like that head sculpt, and I think they did really just a great job. Looking next here, we have sort of the Special Forces head sculpt, if you will. Just has kind of that gas mask look on it, and really well done there also. Just pretty standard looking helmet. You get some paint there on the top and on the goggles, but looks very cool. And then we look at essentially the same head sculpt, but this time with a open mouth, and we can see again just well done. The paint looks good on this one as well, and it's again the same thing as the one that we just saw there with that Special Forces, where it has the silver paint here on the top and on the eyes. And then lastly, we have this Hydra Agent, which just doesn't have the silver stripes or the paint around the goggles. It just has the straight red eyes with a little bit of silver around it, but the same open mouth design. So not bad, looks pretty cool. Going down to the rest of the figure here, of course that is the same on all of them. We get some really good detail on things like the buttons, some of the line work going through. Ooh, the buttons actually don't look as good on that one. How about on this one? Yeah, looks like the button quality control might not be too good. We get a really cool looking Hydra logo though here, and again the paint looks like it's a little off. How about this one? The paint looks like it's a little bit better on that one than it was on the other one, but yeah, not bad. Kind of cool to have two figures to do some comparisons on their quality control. But we can see we get the red lines throughout, and you kind of had the dark green there, and I think it looks really good though. And some of the paint, that logo, you're never going to see bad paint like that from a distance, but you'll always see it up close. We get the Hydra logo on the belt, which is not very high detail, but you can see enough to know that it's a Hydra logo. And on this one, any better? So actually it looks like there's supposed to be the actual eyes there, but on this one the paint was too thick, so the eyes you can't really see, but on that one you can. So interesting. It does have sort of this soft goods piece there. Underneath, of course, is just regular, underside of the figure, but from what I can see, this does not come off anywhere, so that is going to stay on there. And then looking down at the rest of the figure, you got a black line here and the boots, and yeah, looks pretty good. But yeah, I think that is a overall well executed body mold. So looking at the scale, we can see that Red Skull is coming in at just over 6 inches tall, which is the same for the other heads as well. And speaking of the head, we have full rotation, can bury his chin pretty far, can look up quite a ways as well. We have shoulders that unfortunately don't go up very far at all, but you do get full rotation. You have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, hinge and swivel at the wrist. Instead of an ab crunch, you do have a diaphragm joint that can go around, and it doesn't really give you much forward or backwards, unfortunately. He also does have a separate waist rotation as well. Legs that can actually go apart quite a ways. Can kick forward, not too bad. Can kick back, almost non-existent. There is a upper thigh cut under there. You have double jointed knees. There is no boot cut because the boot is actually right there at the knee joint, but you do have a hinge and pivot at the ankle. And that about does it for this review, everyone. So all in all, very cool figure. I like the idea that we got the Red Skull figure, which was cool. I like the idea that we get a couple of different alternate heads to give you some variation if you wanted to do a Hydra army build. I just wish that we would have had more variation on the weapons. Some pistols or something like that would have been cool, and maybe some more variations on the hands as well. So that's all. I just kind of wish that there was a little bit more to make them stand out. But all in all, not too bad. The articulation limitations in the arms aren't the worst, since these aren't necessarily going to be figures that you're going to have in too many agile poses. But I will say, as I was trying to pose this, like you can see this piece is starting to ride up. So it is kind of hard to do some of the leg poses and keep the lower half of the jacket there from getting all goofy. So that is a little bit of a bummer. But all in all, like I said, it is a cool figure. But anyway, as I said, this is it for the review. If you like the review, please hit that like button. If you want to leave a comment down below and let me know what you think, please do that as well. And if you want more content just like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And aside from that, thanks for stopping by and have a great day.